Hello friends, welcome back to our mini web scraping series. In the previous part, we done scraping some data from the course website, and we just print that data to the terminal. So in this part, we are going to save that data in the files in the CSV and in the form of the JSON. So we will be creating these two files to save all the codes to this file. So for that, let's just start. And there is some kind of a variable which we need, which in which we can store all the codes, like the collect scrap data. Okay, so now we need a variable for that to store all the codes, because we will be storing to the files. For that there should be a kind of a variable where all the code should be existed. So let's create the mutable variable, because we need to store it. We need to write it. For that we will be using the vector here, and vector should be of new, and the type of the vector should be, we need to create some kind of a type for that, like for the code we only need the text and the author. We can easily create the struct for that, and struct will be a code, and the code will be, first thing will be a text, and then we need the author. So these are the two things which we need for the codes. Okay, so just we have to use that code here. So now we are good to go. So now we have the variable of the type vector, and we only need to use the code to store the data in. So instead of printing to the terminal, we don't need this line, because we are just storing the data to the codes vector. Let's just set this codes and we will push it. What we need to push, there is a code struct which we created. So okay, now our codes will have the data about the all the codes, which we can easily confirm by checking this, like the scrapped, or we can say that yeah, scrap data, not scrapped, it's scrapped. Okay, and there is a function called for the vectors, there is a length function. Okay, we have called this function. So let's just test this. Let me run. Okay, okay, it's compiling. Okay, we got it. Okay, fetching data from the scrap 10 data. Okay, we got the message scrap 10 data, 10 codes. Now what we can do now, okay, so also there is no need of showing the index, because we are showing it to the file, and we don't need the enumerate function as well. Okay, so it's saved now. So there are some crates which we need for this handling this storing the data in the form of the JSON or the CSV. For that we will be using the, so this was the website which we scraped data from, and there are 10 codes. So the first thing is the serde grade, a generic serialization and deserialization framework. And if you want to serialize your struct or deserialize your struct, so you need this derived attribute serialize, which is in this serde grade. So for that we will be using the serde, and if you are not using the serialize, then you can't serialize the struct. Okay, so we will be doing the same thing in our code. And for handling the JSON, because we are storing the data in the file, but the type should be JSON. To handle the JSON, there is another grade called serde JSON, which under the hood is using the serde grade as well. So for that, JSON serialization for file format, and we will be using that to write to the file in the form of the JSON data. And the last grade which we need is the CSV, because we are storing the data in the file in the form of the CSV as well. For the CSV, we are using this grade called the fast CSV parsing, with support for serde as well. So I know you guys now will know the importance of the serde because it's everywhere. So let's just start by doing wait a second. So we need to add these grades. That's what we need. Okay, so first thing we need is the serde, and we need the serde into JSON, and also we need the CSV grade. So in this case, let me move this screen here, and let me open the documentations for all these grade. There is a documentation link. Okay. Okay, so let's just check all the we got the CSV, we got the serde, we got the serde JSON, everything is there. So now what we need to do, the first thing which we need is we have to use the attribute for that, and for the attribute part we will be using a derive function, and we need this debug as well, but we need to use the serialize. So we use the serialize from the serde, and now we can easily serialize the struct code. What else we need now? Okay, and what we need here now, the different functions which we need to we don't need the line break here, and I think instead of data we will be using the quotes here. Okay, the first function which we need is save to JSON format, and let me open the documentation that which function which we are going to use. Some comment here, save to JSON format, and let me make some room. Okay, so we will create the function called save to JSON, and this function will return us the result. And we need to pass the quotes to this function. So for that, what we need to do, we will use the codes here, and we need to pass it by the reference, because there is another function which we will be going to create to save to CSV, and for that we need to pass the, let me write that as well. So we need to pass the codes, and we will be passing it by reference, so we can use in the both functions. And the type should be a factor. Okay, and let me create save. We have, we can easily, I think, okay, so we only have to change this name to CSV. Okay, and everything will be similar to the JSON function. So now we have both these functions. So for the JSON part, we are going to use, let me open this JSON documentation, and let me go to the function. There is a function called so the first thing we need some kind of a file name for that to store in the CSV. We will have to create the file, and for that, and we will variable name. There is a create function. For the create function, we will be using the codes.json, and now we have to use the serde function called serde_json. There is a function called to writer pretty, and this function will expect two things. The first one is the file, and the second one is obviously the codes. And we have to add the custom now to handle any kind of the errors, and we just simply have to return the use the macro here. Implemented macro. We can comment this out for now. So for the save to JSON, I think we can easily test that. So it's compiling again, and this time fetching data from the 10 codes, and let's check that file. Okay, so the file gets created, which is the codes.json file. So our JSON data is written successfully to a file. Now what we need to do, we'll open this, and we need to write for the so now we have to complete our save to CSV. Let's remove this. So for the save to CSV, it's a little bit different from the JSON format, because we need some kind of a writer here, and writer will be from the CSV module, and there is a writer. For the writer, it means the there is a, let me search for the CSV. There is a function called, and where is the writer? Okay, so this is the writer function, and there's a function called from path, which we will be using from. It's a function, sorry about that, not a function, but why is this not working? Okay, so sorry about that. And now we can from path, and what will be the path will be codes.csv, So now we got the writer. So what we can do now, we can easily loop through this for, we can say that codes, and we will loop through all the codes. And what we need to do now, writer have this function called the, not the flush, the function is called, I think, what is this, let me check here. Okay, see, there's a function called a serialize. We need to serialize that code, and let me clean this code. And okay, so we got all the data. So for the writer part, there is one more thing which we need to do, which is called the writer dot flush. Okay, so it's a writer, it should be a mutable value because we are going to write the data to it. I'm getting here this now, flush the corners of the internal buffer to unwind data. Why I'm getting the error? Let me check for the flush. Is the writer again? There's a writer. Let me search for the flush. Okay, so my bad. We need to add the custom mark here. Now I think we are good to go. Okay, we don't have any errors. We have passed the codes. Save to CSV to JSON. Okay, and this returns the results. So we need to handle the error as well for these two calling functions. So everything is good now, and let me delete this file, and please save. First we will have to clean it, and then we will run the file. So it will compile again because we have cleaned our cargo. So it's compiled successfully. Okay. Let me exit now. Okay, so the codes.csv and the codes.json both files. So this is the CSV format, and everything is there. Text and the author will be a title, and there is a code along with the author name. Okay, and we will check the JSON again one more time. So this is the perfectly written JSON. It's in a very pretty format. So we have everything now, everything completed for both the CSV and the JSON part. And one more thing, which is the most important thing which I have to mention, is this flush, writer.flush. So remember that in the coding and as well as in your daily life, always flush. Okay, remember that, always flush. Let me tell you why. So this writer is using the some kind of a buffer memory, not some kind of a buffer memory, it uses the buffer memory So the buffer memory, it's not like that. Think of buffer memory is like some kind of a waiting room, and so this writer is not going to save the bit by bits data to the disk directly, because it will be so much time consuming and it will be pretty slow. So for that, this writer is using the buffer memory, and all the data will be stored in the buffer. And this writer is saying that once you're done completing writing your data, then please let me know. So use the flush function so I can put all the data to that disk or to that file. So that's why I always use the flush. And if I can give you the simple example for what's the flush is, think of it as like some kind of if you are writing to a text editor and there is a save button. So you are writing the text editor, you are typing, so all the data is in the memory. Okay, and let's say the editor gets crashed, or your laptop gets turned off, uh, so any other reason for that, so your data will never ever be to that disk. It will not get saved until you have pressed that save button. So think of the flush is like that save button, or the you can say that let's say you are filling any kind of the form, there is a submit or save button at the end. So their save or the submit button is the flush. Okay, so when you click on it, so all your data is gets saved to that disk, and it will be permanently written. So for this flush part, there is another thing which I have to mention, that Rust sometimes automatically flushes it for you, or the when this writer will gets out of the scope, or the function they save to CSV function, and complete like when this save to CSV function done everything, so it gets out of the scope, then the Rust will automatically flush for you. But this is not always the case for like handling this kind of situation, because you have to manually flush it. Because the reason for that is, if sometimes, like let's say your program is running and it's get terminated or crashes, so it's not guaranteed that all of your data will be on that file. Maybe you might experience loss of data, and it's not guaranteed that all of your data will be there. So for the production or any kind of, if your app is in the production, so you can't take the risk, so always manually flush that, flush that writer. So I am sure that now you will be thinking that why we haven't used the flush for the this save to JSON. The reason is because we are passing the file to the directly file to the write pretty function, and we are not dealing with the buffer memory here. So this write pretty function is flushing it internally. So we are passing the file, and this what this function does. This function written all the data of your course in one go, instead of writing it bit by bit to a buffer memory. So it will not use this function not using the any kind of the buffer memory. So that's why we don't have to use the flush for this in this kind of in these kind of situation. Okay, so we have successfully written our data to in the form of the JSON and the CSV, and we both we have checked that we have the files codes.json and codes.csv, and the code is pretty simple for that to handle any kind of this kind of a data. And let me show you anything else which I have to share. So that's it for now, and as you all see, it's very simple to save in the form of the JSON or the CSV, and we have added the 10 codes. I think we need to, let me check that documentation, and there is any other thing which I have to explain. So we have there was a message fetching data. We need to add the line break. Just I'm doing some kind of a formatting to make it look pretty, and we also add the line break here. And after this save, I think we should have to data, maybe the file names. The file names data save to course.json and course.csv. Okay, and nothing else. Got the okay. And there is nothing else in the documentation which I have to share for this current video. And let me save this. I think we will add the line break here as well. So let me delete this and delete this as well. Let's test this one more time. So we will getting fetching data from the website. The website is scrapped 10 codes, and data is saved to the codes.json and codes.csv. Okay, and I think we will add the line break here as well. Okay, so that's it for now, and I will attach the GitHub link in the description of this code, so you guys can check it and feel free to run on your machines. So that's it for now. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.